Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
hi Kangkan.
Hi,
Yes,
how are
I can
you?
hear you. Hi, I'm
Oh,
good.
hey, great to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
So how is it going? I know times are different now, but otherwise, how are things?
Yeah, so it all depends on how you come up with the things and take care of the things. Now you work on certain other skills which you didn't got time to work when the
Correct.
life was like really running around. So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, pretty going okay.
Right, right. Now you being one of the top sports nutritionists in the country, so obviously you have different players across different parts of the country. But how is
Correct.
it they're managing with the food? Because now with the lockdown, things are very different, like it used to be earlier, right? Because food
Correct.
in itself is a very rare commodity now. That is basic, like
Correct.
food.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Forget about your recommended diet, wherein you had special food been offered. I mean, offered as
Correct.
it in terms of the menu. So how is it your athletes are managing? During this time.
See what happens now. This time has brought in lot of changes. So with an athlete, anyways, they go through lot of phases. It's off season, in season. There is a phase wherein they are injured or they are at rest. So limited options also for an athlete, because for them lot of options are anyways not always available. So what happens right now? Activity is also not there as such. Like they used to be training like five
Yes.
hours, sometimes
Right.
six
Right.
hours,
Yeah.
morning, evening. It's not there. So a lot of changes are going on in terms of their lifestyle. Few things are there which I'm trying to tell them. Like
Right.
first thing is, okay, you don't have to go for early morning training, but still keep up your routine. Just
Right.
because
Yeah.
you cannot go out doesn't mean I'm waking up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock,
Hmm.
and sleeping at 1 in the night, too
Yeah.
early morning I'm sleeping. So it's like, because it's going to affect, and once the things are normal and you start up on training, it's
Correct.
going to be a tough task. So
Yeah.
at least let's keep up on the routine, sleep
Correct.
on time, and
Hmm.
make sure the foods, whatever is available, we are not stocking up on always chips, always this thing, that
Yeah.
thing. There are
That's always.
options.
Yeah.
Okay, and what happens with an athlete? No, since they are always active, no, what happens? Their hunger levels are also more. Their metabolic rate is also high, so they have a
Correct.
tendency to keep eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that is also one thing. I am in touch with my athletes. Guys, don't eat always.
Forget that. At
Okay,
least it
have,
happens even with people like us.
yeah, that's what. Yeah, so I am
Yeah.
telling others also to try not to, like, because majority people nowadays, if you know people, like fitness industry is going up so much and people are very much concerned about their health. So
Right.
one, this thing important is like keep up to a routine. Of course, I'm not saying exact 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, but have some time. It's not like somebody came in sitting, let me take one spoon from there. One spoon se kya
Yeah.
hota hai? But it's
Yeah.
like
Correct.
one bite, one
Yeah.
spoon, little bit of it, a sip of it, all those
Right.
things adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I like what I am telling my athletes is like focus on these aspects. It's not a
Yeah.
problem you have the similar food. We can
Mm.
do the same thing, but few things are there. If they're going to take care of that, no, it will help in maintaining their overall
Correct. Correct.
thing that
Yes.
they were taking care of their health.
Yeah. 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 No, I'm sure because
Yeah,
with different times you obviously have to adapt accordingly, right? I mean, adaptation
correct.
is
Yes,
something
yes.
that has to. I mean, we
And
human
one
beings
more
have it.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, one more thing I am telling my athletes, it's like to learn cooking. Okay,
Oh,
even
okay.
to other people also. Yeah, it's a skill, because
Yeah.
see what happens is like your mama is not always there with you,
Correct.
your family is not always
Yeah.
with you, at least, and you and others also, not only athletes, because cooking is something lot of people are like, what to do, Rashmi, especially for night shift people, or those outside one who used to always have a thali or packed food with them. What is the thing? So I'm like, see, always healthy foods. You can't rely outside and keep buying them. It is too expensive also in the name of health. And a lot of hidden things are there in those packaged foods. It says low fat, low this thing. But a lot of people don't know how to read sodium
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
other
Obviously.
aspects
Yeah.
in a label. So what
Correct. Yeah.
happens? I am telling them, okay, learn how to boil
Mm.
rice,
Okay.
how you can do certain things, learn how to make
Yeah.
khichdi, boiled
Yeah.
potato. So it's like these skills. A lot of my athletes, they sent me pictures also how they made
Oh,
milkshake
okay.
with what,
Yeah.
and they told me a
Wow.
lot of good recipes.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like one aspect that I'm focusing with them is like, and I also keep sending them easy recipe things, what you can do which doesn't involve any fire as such. just by mixing chia seed with this thing. So many things are there which can be done. So cooking is one thing that I am telling them to start doing it.
So now your athletes know more than just a boiled egg, right?
Correct. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of them are actually. Other day, two of my girls, they told me how they made a gluten-free cake with
Wow.
certain good ingredients in it, and it was like really good. Something even
Right.
I learned from them to
No, I'm
try.
sure. Yeah, yeah, correct. Yes,
So
yes. Right.
yeah.
So
So
Rashmi,
that's one thing.
yeah. So Rashmi, before we actually go on to a few very serious topics that has been a talk of the country for quite some time, not only country, around the world.
Hmm.
So let me introduce you to our viewers for a few who might not know about you. So Rashmi Cherian
Hmm.
is one of the top sports nutritionists in the country. She's also the founder of Wellness Vows, and she's also a national health awarded sports nutritionist. And she has a lot of athletes across disciplines, different sports disciplines across the country. So welcome on board, Rashmi. Thank you so much for your time. And yes, it's really a pleasure having you. So
Thank you so
Rashmi,
much.
thanks. So Rashmi, the first thing that I really want to touch upon is something to ask you, rather than asking you, know from you, is to do with gluten, because we hear so much of things around gluten, right? That certain athletes are prone to gluten components in the food, right?
Yeah.
How far it is true? Maybe it is true, but how? I mean, is it really that serious? And does it really have that serious an effect on the body as such? And if at all, how do you assess the situation that okay, so and so athlete actually is prone to gluten food effect on the body?
So see, when it comes to gluten, no, we generally what I've seen is like a lot of athletes start doing gluten free or lactose free for that matter by seeing somebody who is doing it. See,
Okay.
gluten free is not something like a different kind of a diet. It's something, if you follow it, if you are allergic or sensitive to it, in that case, it makes more sense because foods that contain gluten, which is your wheat, rye, or barley, contains a lot of other nutrients as well. So unless and until a person is not sensitive or allergic to it, there is no point in going for a gluten-free diet. At the same time, see, allergy is something which we get to know when a baby is born, and first time when a gluten is given. Celiac disease we get to know by developing a lot of stomach related issues, and we get to know that there is something called non-celiac gluten sensitivity as well, wherein you're not allergic or you're not positive to gluten disease, but you might have certain symptoms, which
Oh,
I
okay.
have also observed. Yeah, like people get this IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, they get to see, and a lot of constipation issues I have seen. Sometimes they have to run to loo immediately after eating a food or which has gluten into it, and people are unable to recognize that because they think, okay, from my childhood I have been eating this, so gluten something just goes off their mind. And towards North India and all, gluten is a major food. Wheat roti, parathas, all those things, no, we eat a lot. Okay, so what happens is like suddenly I've seen a lot of people from that side of the country going suddenly gluten free. You have been something born and brought up, so we need to understand, am I really gluten free, or am I really gluten sensitive or not? Okay, and once understanding that through with a professional, no, it's always better, and yes, we can go gluten free. And another thing is like the kind of wheat we used to get earlier at our parents time is something different nowadays
Yeah,
what we
true.
get.
Yeah, that's
That's
very
why
true.
we
Yeah,
have lot
yeah,
of issues. It's like
correct.
more of a genetically modified ones,
Mm,
GMOs one.
correct,
That's
correct.
why we are getting lot of issues with a gluten diet. So
Right.
it's like if it's done sensibly, yes, it can really help. Even weight issues are there with people. And that happened in my past experience wherein we worked on a lot of things with an athlete and the person was unable to drop weight. So through blood test or even through a genetic test, we can get to know a person is gluten intolerant or not. And once understanding that, we can work on improving even the performance of an athlete. Because what happens, sometimes there are no symptoms, but once you eat food, no, you are uncomfortable inside. A lot of
Okay.
players you must have
Mm-hmm.
heard and they have told, once I
Yes.
stopped the gluten or something, no,
Yeah.
I felt very light. I felt
Mm-hmm.
okay, internally I am good. So
Correct.
sometimes even athletes are unable to differentiate between these things,
Right,
what
right.
is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So depending upon the symptoms, no, we nutritionists decide whether a person has to really go for it. So I am always for it also. At the same time, not doing sensibly also is something wrong, because through that you get a lot of nutrients as well.
Correct.
So
Yes.
simply just avoiding it doesn't make sense.
Right,
And
right.
another thing that people make with gluten is like they think it's only chapati or your bread.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
But anything which has malt also, okay, it is like they have gluten in it. As such, the wheat things are there. So we need to see what are the hidden names also for gluten or for wheat in any of the products. Sometimes as a coating, no, they mix wheat flour into it, but we don't know because the ingredient is something else. So the coating used for the frying is like it had wheat in it. So it's like you cannot just simply, we have to, because in gluten free, lot of foods just go out of your diet, baked
But
goods and so
yeah,
many other things are there.
yeah. Sorry.
And yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like, and our country still doesn't have those lot of, we do have gluten free options, but in the name of gluten free, it's just too expensive.
Too expensive.
So
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, yeah, too expensive. And at the same time, they're not healthy. A lot of people think I'm gluten free, so I am actually very healthy. It's a healthy diet.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Obviously not. Yeah.
but it's not the actual fact that it's
Correct,
a
correct.
healthy thing. So if
Yes.
it's done sensibly, it makes sense. But if it's not, you don't have any symptoms as such,
Correct.
why not?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
not? Why
Yeah,
remove gluten?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, on the surface of it, an athlete himself has to feel that okay, something is wrong inside my body, right? For example, the same thing happened with Novak Djokovic.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, he was playing, and he was, of course, at the time, not at par with Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He just won one Grand Slam, but he was still struggling, to really beat those two other top guys. So that's when he felt something bad inside, and he didn't know, because he obviously not a doctor or something.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Then there is one sports nutritionist, I think in Australia, who just said that, okay, I just want to have a test on your body, some test.
Correct.
Yeah. So he, I think, sent the samples and all that, and he immediately said, okay, I think you have this gluten thing, that's really affecting your performance.
Intolerance.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And from that time, he really, had a diet that was totally gluten free, and today we all see the kind of player he is.
Yeah, see, the thing is this, people miss out on the part that he was not feeling okay. He met a nutritionist, and nutritionist ran couple of tests on him. That's when they decided. But what happens, majority of the people just see, okay, he did a gluten-free diet and he improved his performance.
Okay.
That was not a complete picture. There was a complete story behind it, and that is the major part which majority people miss on that. Okay, so that is very important, and a regular person or a regular athlete for that matter cannot recognize. And that's why it's always essential why nutrition is important. Because when you work with some professional, you get to know about the things and you improve yourself. Otherwise, you won't be able to recognize as such.
Correct.
So these things are important.
Yes, obviously. And what about these gluten-free wheat and flour that we get in the market nowadays, the packaged food? I mean, is it really recommended? Is it really like that, or how is it like?
See, it depends. As I said, like gluten-free products are there, but at the same time, since gluten is not there, we have so many other options. Like you can go for rice, you can go for millets. Okay, so these are the things through which you can involve natural whole foods rather than anything from a plastic or a processed one. So sometimes in between, like snack options and all, you can go for it, but we need to see, is it deep fried? Does it contain high amount of sodium into it? So by understanding those things, because just to avoid gluten, we are bringing in lot other unhealthy stuffs in our body, which doesn't make any sense. It's better to move to other whole foods which naturally doesn't contain gluten in them.
Correct.
So that will be the better thing.
Yeah. Also, now you are a North Indian, of course, so you will know this story better. Now in North Indian, like you already said, chapati, roti, I mean, that's a staple diet, right? So all of a sudden, when you actually come to know that, okay, this guy is affected by this gluten, components in any food. The same North Indian guy tell athlete used to say that, okay, from tomorrow you're not going to have your chapati. So that's a very kind of a cultural shock also that he gets, right? Because he's been brought up like that. And in any North Indian kitchen, you have this typical North Indian guy telling
Correct.
his
Yes.
mom, "Mummy roti," right?
Yeah.
And
Ha,
all of a
ha,
sudden
ha.
you
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's just like you telling me, I am from a rice-eating state, Assam, that from tomorrow
To
Konkan
stop
cannot
eating
have
rice. Yeah.
rice. It'll be very difficult for me. So
Ha.
culturally also, I mean, the mindset also, I think you need to, at times it's difficult for you. How is it like?
See what happens now with an athlete when we start working on them in from the beginning itself. No, since an athlete's goal is an international, then sport doesn't come as culture. First of all, an athlete has to understand that. Okay, we yes we eat culturally. Your main foods like now you make like a gobi vegetable. Your style of making or a North Indian style of making will differ. Somebody will add something, a North Indian or a Eastern side will add something else, but your way of preparations can remain the same. But we always tell an athlete, when your goal is national, you are in Delhi, born and brought up, but what will happen if you end up in Coimbatore or Tamil, somewhere else, Kerala and all? So we need to stop eating culturally. That's very important that our athletes need to understand. Okay, and before we stop gluten or take any decision for that matter for lactose or anything, we always work on tests also and have proper details. And like it is really that you need to stop it, not on any assumptions. But when we work on an athlete, we have all the tests and everything. So when a person sees that, okay, it is affecting my performance, and any
Right.
serious athlete, for
Yeah.
them the performance is topmost. So something which is affecting your performance, your stomach related things are happening, and by stopping certain things, it's going to make improvement. Majority athletes actually don't have any problem. Okay, what
Okay.
happens? Yes, food is emotion. That is true. I agree. Food is emotion. You can lose your game and you can actually win a game because it gives happiness. But
Correct.
over the
Yes.
period of time, yes, that's how we work with an athlete and teach them. We come up with so many friendly options also. And see, Kankan, what happens though, if somebody is have been eating gluten, from next very day we don't take a drastic decision of stopping it completely. Till today you are eating and from tomorrow
Correct.
it
Correct.
stopped
Okay.
completely. We
Oh,
don't
okay.
work that way. A sensible
Mm-hmm.
nutritionist will never do that. We
Okay.
always make any shift, whether you are moving to an intermittent or to a gluten lactose, we always make a gradual shift to that diet.
Correct.
Okay, like
Yes.
slow we have to go, and then we'll make it, because when they do it slowly, they also start seeing changes or any improvements, and that just motivates them more.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
keeping these aspects, we have to keep the emotions also that are involved with the food.
Correct. Correct. No,
So
that,
that's a
yeah.
more
Yeah.
sensible approach
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
doing
Rightly
it.
said, because even in, for example, when you are exercising gym or something, it's about progression, right? Okay. Today you're doing this,
Yes,
tomorrow. Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So likewise, I'm sure that's what you're meaning in nutrition also. You
Yes,
cannot all of a
correct.
sudden, take away this
Sudden
food, that
change
food.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We don't do
slowly you're
that.
going to, yeah, do it. Yeah. Right. Yes. True.
Hmm.
Okay, now you handle different athletes, right, across different sports discipline, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
be it tennis, badminton, weightlifting, also, I guess.
yes.
So uh, okay, so for example, uh, between a tennis and a badminton player, let me give you two cases. I will not bring a
Yeah,
weightlifter, because weightlifter will have a totally different diet, right, from a tennis player
correct.
or a
Yes.
badminton.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tennis and badminton, I guess it'll be,
More or less
so
similar
more or
kind.
less similar, yeah. So
Yes.
basically, say for example, we've got two guys who are at the equal level at their own equal sport. I mean, at their
Yeah.
own respective sport. So how different will be the diet for both this badminton and this tennis player? Suppose they're at the same level. So how do you do it actually?
Okay. First thing, see, we don't work always as a sport wise. Like you said, weightlifting, boxing, martial arts is completely different, where we move completely different. But whether if you take two guys also from the same sport like badminton or tennis or football, how we work with the diet is like we need to see what their body composition is like, because even their height, weight, okay, how tall they are, so many things are there which will depend on a final diet that we are going to work on. Are there any allergies, like, okay, any medical conditions are involved? And body composition is very, very important. You might look lean, but your muscle mass can be low and your fat percentage could be really high as required for your sport. So considering that goals of a athlete, he's like he wants to improve his energy level, somebody wants to improve your stamina, strength, and all of that. Depending on that and what is required for that sport, because see, your rice, atta, dal, chawal, sabji remains the same. Okay, it doesn't differ from
Correct.
sport
Yeah.
to sport.
True. True.
That
True.
remains the same. What the macros, like your carbs, proteins, fat percentage before your game, post your game, then how many hours? See, your badminton guy could be training for 4 hours, whereas a tennis guy is just playing for 2 hours. So considering that also, how intense, what is the intensity of the game? They are at beginner level, they are an elite player. So while working on the nutrition plan, no, it's like I spend minimum 2 hours in the beginning because I need to understand
Correct.
so
Yeah.
many things. So
Correct.
many.
Yes.
That's why when somebody says, "No, Rashmi, give me a nutrition chart," I get so many DMs on my Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Give me a nutrition plan. It doesn't work that way
Obviously. Yeah. Yeah.
because yeah, we have to understand so many things. What an athlete. There are players who just cannot eat and immediately go and play. There are players who can eat. So accordingly, I need to fuel them as well. Some few players sweat a lot, few doesn't. So it's like a nutrition plan will be based on so many things. Yes, sport wise it's there, but again your food remains the same. What macros will come in, and then accordingly, like a peanut butter, it's a good superfood, good thing that can be given, but can't be given to everybody as much quantity. One example I'm giving you, but can be
True.
given to a weightlifter,
Yes.
can be given
Yeah.
to a badminton player, can be given to a football, any sport we can give. Okay, but it depends what are the goals of an athlete, what is his body composition, how much fat percentage is there, what is the muscle mass. Depending on that, we work on the nutrition strategies for a particular individual. It's an individual, and then comes the sport, what is required for that, and accordingly then we work on that. So that's the thing.
True. True. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously you just cannot give somebody a diet plan. Okay, you have it. I mean, you have to
Yeah,
see
true.
everything. Yeah.
Ha
Just like a
ha
patient
ha.
coming to a doctor and he just
Yeah,
DM the doctor. Okay, doctor, give me some tablets. It's like that, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
correct, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Huh.
True. True. Yeah. So okay, now in a typical say tournament scenario, a lot of your athletes obviously go there and play tournaments. Now at
Correct.
times athletes go through different phases in in terms of performance. Sometimes the athletes get too tense, get too tight before a match. So do you have
Yes.
any superfood in your menu wherein that really boosts up your energy, performance? Do you recommend something of that sort wherein it might not be a long-term thing, but okay, say suppose if I'm going for a match, I'm just 10 minutes away from the match, some kind of a superfood that you just give it to me, that that it will boost me up, my energy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
performance. Do you have something of that sort?
See, few things are there in terms of food is also there and supplement also there. I'll come to that. What happens is like, no, see, your instant thing will help, but if your tank is empty, your fuel is not there, that temporary superfood or temporary certain thing will come in. It's not going to do any wonder because it's going to be for a shorter period of time and it will not have any impact as such. Okay. But yes, when any athlete goes to a competition because of stress, food is something last, and that's the biggest mistake an athlete does. Okay, because
Okay,
you're already under stress, your stress
correct.
hormones are coming in that you forget your hunger. There is no energy as such when you start a game, and when you're actually hungry, no, you cannot stop and eat as such. For that matter, like your basketball or football or badminton, tennis, you cannot stop as such. Unlike short duration any sport like swimming or something, the point is like, that's why we train them, okay, how you need to eat 2 hours before a game, 30 minutes before, because the fueling process has to start much earlier. You have to fill up all those glycogen reserves as well. That's when in between, to give a sudden boost of energy or something we can do in between as a fillers. But like a lot of people do coffee for that matter. Okay, now for coffee also we do have genetic testing. Coffee
Oh,
is
okay.
something works on some people, doesn't work on any few people. Like me, coffee doesn't work at all.
Achha,
So it
okay.
doesn't make me happy or
Right.
increase
Yeah.
my
Okay.
energy
Correct.
levels.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, it
Yeah.
doesn't affect my sleep. So it's like for such things also we need to try if that is working or not. But from the beginning, nutrition is something we need to remember and we need to eat. Lot of times people have gone and see what happens. Your competitions are generally outskirts of the city, majority times. Okay, wherein as such food is not there. Or your name
True.
can
Yeah.
be announced anytime.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
generally what happens, 12 o'clock is the match, you might end up playing at 4 o'clock. And a lot of
Yeah.
times these
That's a
players
very good
are
point. Yes.
sitting,
Yeah.
yeah, they're
Hmm.
sitting hungry. And once what happened some 2 years back, one of my tennis player called me and he's like, what should I eat, Rashmi? I don't have anything. And then I'm like, outside also, as such, nothing is there. He's like, my name will be announced in 30 minutes. And it's like, you can't do anything. And then last thing he said, I am going to lose this match. I know I am going to lose because
Okay.
I'm already low in energy. And that day he realized a lot more that how food helps you. Okay, it helps in your, like, see, playing badminton or tennis is not just hitting that shuttlecock or that ball. Your mind has to work and you have to strategize. So you need food, your fuel for your brain also to work in. So many things are there. So like, yes, quick things like, see, quick digesting foods are like your bananas. We even give sweet potatoes also. But see, it is planning on the spot. It's not going to happen
True.
that you're
Yeah.
searching for these
Yes.
foods.
Yeah.
So even for that instant thing, you need to pack up and come. So along with your kit, you need to make sure your food bag has to go along with you. Okay, we cannot rely. See, outside food are also there. What happens if your stomach goes upset? We don't know how well it is prepared, and you have always been eating at home. We don't know how it is prepared, how those cut fruits were like that, or that curry that was prepared. So it's like whatever instant foods are there, planning is required and we have to carry. And the fueling has to start from the time you wake up in the morning. In fact, your previous night's meal itself, it starts. You need to take it because you need those glycogen reserves and that preparation is required. Then
True.
only if any of these superfoods come in
Yeah.
will work. Otherwise, see, even though superfoods are not there, you're properly fueled and hydrated. Hydration is
Hmm.
very
True.
important.
True. True. True.
If
Yeah.
properly fueled and hydration,
Yeah.
you actually don't need any those so-called
Yeah.
superfoods.
Oh,
They're again
okay.
the same food
Yeah.
only,
Yeah.
and that will work
Hmm.
on you.
Hmm. Yeah, talking about hydration,
So
yeah. So we also, I learned for something called rehydration. No, I don't know what the
yeah,
term.
those rehydration drinks are you talking
Okay.
about?
No, for example, typically a marathon runner, long distance, say runner, for example, if he has to run for about, say, 100 kilometers to those marathon races and all. So what he
Hmm.
does basically is that he drinks a lot of water before the race
Hmm.
starts.
Hmm.
So does, I
Hmm.
mean, so of course you got water tables, you can eat, I mean, drink
You
in
can.
between also. Yeah. But instead of doing that, he drinks a lot of water just before that, so that it
Ha
kind of
ha ha.
rehydrates something. So does it really help? I mean, or
See, that's what when I once I was giving this talk on in a 10K this thing event, it's like you have to drink water, but not like a fish. Okay, it's like not always keep on drinking because the same way you will excrete out also at the same rate because of the diuretic hormone we have. So apart from drinking water, we when such long races and all happens, we have to look for electrolytes as well. Okay, just by plain drinking plain water, it's not going to help. See, so we suggest them to have sips at
hmm,
some duration intervals. Okay, and in between the anyways you are drinking. So yes, you have to drink water, but all together, if you drink it, you will excrete out, and you might have issues while you are going for your race
okay,
as well. So
okay,
it's
okay.
like you have to start sipping from previous day itself. It starts.
Yeah,
Your
yeah, yeah. That's
electrolyte
yeah,
drinks also
yeah.
come in, and
Correct,
it will
correct.
include your coconut water,
Yeah.
buttermilk, plain water, water with the electrolytes will
Hmm.
come in. We do all sort of things, but everything we don't do it all together because it's not going to help as well.
True, true, true.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, we're in a world of quick fixes, right? We've got a 2020. Everything
Yes.
is fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about
True.
fast food. So everything is fast, right? I mean,
Yes.
basically we need
Yes.
quick fixes. So
Quick.
likewise, yeah, everything is quick. So likewise, we see that there are a lot of quick fixes in terms of food also that has come by in terms of losing weight mostly. So for example, we
Yes.
talk about green tea. Then we talk about chia seeds. So maybe
Chia seeds.
it works. I don't know. But even if it works, will it have side effects? Obviously, I mean, I'm not coming to the point where okay, you just have green tea, you don't do anything else. I mean, it will not help. But keeping everything else say fine, and then having
Yeah.
green tea and then all these things like chia seeds and all that, will it really help reduce weight or no?
Okay, the point is, first thing I ask people is like, you are just looking at moving your numbers from 60 to 55 kg. In that, you're losing muscle mass also, because weight loss, what is it? Are we looking? Is it like a quick weight loss and then to regain back again? Because actual sensible scientific weight loss is something you build up your muscle mass as well. And fat is something you have gained over a period of years, something we just cannot reduce in a short span of time. Like,
True, true,
and there
true.
are so
Yes.
many quick fixes: green
Yeah,
juice diet, this drink, that drink, this smoothie, that smoothie, you drink
yeah,
and you lose weight. See what happens, Kankan, you stop eating anything. And certain group of supplement people also do that: drink their shakes and you don't eat food and you will lose it. Why not are you going to lose weight if you're not going to eat food as such? And see, no point me drinking green tea or chia seed in the morning and my next meal is like gobi Manchurian with some vegetable fried rice or something.
true. Yeah,
So weight loss is calorie going in and how much calorie going out of the body. We need to maintain a balance. Calorie deficit is something that we work on in terms of weight loss when it comes. So how much you are eating and how much are you burning? That is the right way of working on calories. So what are the calories going in? Could be in any form, like of course healthy ones, but what is the thing that we are eating? So these things can come in as a part of a healthy diet. Like suppose I am working on a calorie deficit thing, yes, green tea can be a part of it, chia seed can be a part of it, apple cider vinegar can be a part of it, barley water, aloe vera water, so many things are there. But just relying on certain food, and especially in the case of athletes, it's very dangerous. I keep seeing,
true.
and that's why my aim through my YouTube channel is also like that, to focus on such quick fixes thing. There is nothing like that if
Correct,
you
correct.
really want to work on
Yeah,
it. Okay, and the point is, not one food makes you gain weight or lose weight. Okay, it's your overall thing. So suddenly, if I'm maintaining certain thing and one day I eat biryani, I am not going to gain weight. Or if I eat ice cream, I am not going to gain weight. But once it becomes a habit, and in between I try to put in an apple cider vinegar or some lemon water, hot lemon water, all those things, I am not going to drop weight. I have to work on my habits. That's how sensibly you will drop it, and you need to give time to your body. It's not something one, because people have come up to me 1 week say I am doing na itna exercise, Rashmi, weight loss nahi ho raha hai. It doesn't work that way.
correct, correct, correct.
Okay.
Yes,
And exercise part also we kind of miss on that. It's like, okay, you start with some physical activity, but as per our goals, as per our requirements, no, we have to go a little more advanced in our workouts also. Initially koi workout, somebody is not doing workout, start with walk, something. Now if you keep on just doing only walk for 30 minutes, it's not going to have as
correct,
such
correct. Yes,
improvement on
yes, yes.
yourself as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So it's like it goes with your food also, and same way with your exercise. So there is nothing like that, no quick fixes, no only green juice or something like that. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
It's like you can eat your particular cultural food, but we need to understand how the calories I have to maintain, my portions, how much I am eating, with what I am eating. Like rice is not bad. People cut out rice, potato, this, that, and all, and doing it for 1 week, 2 weeks, and suddenly they crash because they cannot maintain. It's not possible, Kankan, to do such kind of crash thing. You have to go to a party. You have to
correct.
go for some function. Are you
Obviously.
going to sit and drink green tea there? Just because I am on a weight
Yeah,
loss diet kind of
yeah.
thing. It doesn't work that way.
Correct,
So
correct,
all these quick fixes, no, it
correct.
doesn't. It doesn't work at all
Correct, correct,
like
yeah.
that.
Okay, I just want to pick one thing from what you said, the rice. Okay.
Huh.
So I think there's another, I don't know if it's a misconception or maybe it's true. So
Yeah.
how, I mean, does rice really increase your weight? Something of that sort happens? How is like, because a lot of people don't eat rice and eat chapati at night to reduce weight.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what's your take on that?
Yeah, you should see my YouTube. In that I've explained really
Sure, sure.
nicely
Oh,
how rice is actually
really?
good. And you'll not believe, I prefer eating rice for almost my both the meals. Okay, what happens now? Chapati mein people are like, ek chapati khaya, do chapati. Rice mein dalte hi jate. They are unable to control as such. And see, you are getting carbs from rice also, and from chapati also. Okay, from your wheat also. in rice, yes, I would suggest if you're a regular rice eater, white rice is okay. If you have a habit of eating parboiled rice, red rice, nothing like that. They are much more better than I would say chapati in my overall experience. And in my case, whenever I've handled diabetics, I've seen their blood sugar spiking up more with chapati compared to a rice.
Oh,
And
really?
especially, yes. My
Oh.
mom and my mother-in-law both are diabetic actually. So
Okay.
it's like the thing is this. See, and culturally also it depends because from your childhood you have been born and brought
Correct,
up
yes.
on rice, bisibele bhat, this rice, that rice. Suddenly stopping is a problem. The problem is people don't understand the quantity and उसके साथ मैं क्या खा रहा हूँ? What am I eating? अगर आप सिर्फ rice and rasam you are going to eat, you will be super hungry in another 30 minutes. Your side add-on is what? What is your protein? See, protein
Correct.
is very important for a weight loss. Carbs can be in the form of rice, can be bread, can be bun, can be pasta, can be noodles, but we always target rice only. The problem is what is the thing along with it? What is the protein along with it? See, if you eat rice rajma or rice chana, you will see you're not hungry for longer period of time.
True.
Yeah, it is little heavy compared to eating just rice with some vegetable curry or rasam. They are very light. Okay, they are very light and it makes you a little more sleepy also, especially in the afternoon when you eat rice, no, and lots of rice. You feel like, okay, I need to doze off. Or
yeah, that's one more thing, right?
Yeah, that is
eating
there.
rice makes you sleepy.
So it is not rice actually, but it's a high carb meal. It's giving you that insulin spike kind of thing, and your brain starts shutting down. Okay, that is the thing that works. So the point is, what is the food am I eating along with it? And that will control your portion of rice also. And I always suggest take a controlled quantity in your plate. Okay, and fill your plate with other things. That's how you'll be able to enjoy your rice also. Whatever dal is there along with it, vegetable, a big portion has to come in. Okay, and some protein in some form in your meal is very important when we work on weight loss. That is the major thing that we actually overlook, because a lot of people I've heard, they tell me, okay, I eat sambar, but imagine what happens, this much raw dal you took and 4 people had, you had added lot of things into it, lot of vegetables, so each person got very little amount of dal in that. Okay, so the protein is not that good. Actually, it's not a high protein meal. So something has to come in, include some sprouts in your salad. Could be very simple. Paneer can be added pieces wise. So what the point is, coming back to your question, is like rice is there. It's not bad at all. The point is with what are we eating? Is it only plain carbs? See it as a source of carbs, not as rice am I looking. How much am I eating? You can eat rice for both the meals. There is no problem at all.
Yeah. True. I mean, so basically, it's not about the rice, but what you are eating along with rice.
What you are eating and how much rice are you eating?
How much
like
rice,
for a diabetic, rice is not bad, but a sticky rice will be bad because it has a very much high glycemic index. They have this thing, so which increases their blood sugar. So the choice of rice also, we need to decide as per if any medical conditions are there or anything. And for athletes, rice works really well. Quick digesting. Okay, quick digesting. It doesn't take much time. And really helps in, and you get a lot of vitamins and minerals also from rice. We do have rice protein nowadays in the market. So it's not that good source. It's not protein as such, but you get a lot of vitamins, minerals in rice. And when you combine rice with dal, vegetable and ghee on top of it, no, you actually drop the glycemic index of that meal. It will not spike up your blood sugar levels. Yes. Okay, and lot of amino acids that are missing in rice are found in dal. So once you combine your rice with dal, you are actually complementing each other, and your vegetables come in, and you put a teaspoon of ghee on top of it, no, which actually drops the glycemic index, and it's not bad for your health.
My God,
whereas if you eat plain rice,
no, and that's too much of permutation combination. No wonder you need a dietitian.
Yeah, at times, at least to understand, because see, we have been taught to eat always. But how to eat and how much is required, all those things. So that's why people always think dietitian is always for weight loss. No, there are so many things that you can learn. And that's why make sure go to a qualified nutritionist, because the market is full of quacks.
True. Yeah.
Very much.
Yes. So another thing that goes around is, I think we are discussing about some very important topics, right?
Yes.
So this thing is about milk. Now, how milk is important? How much? I mean, how important is milk for any athlete? Because I've been hearing different stories. Okay, so it's always becomes a big debate. Somebody saying that milk, they go Dhoni, he drinks 2 liters of milk every day, so that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But there is another thing that goes around saying that milk is actually not required after a certain age. It doesn't add too much to your body. Uh,
Yeah.
so what's your take on that?
See, the thing is this first important information, almost 70% Indians are lactose intolerant. Okay, and we
Oh,
don't
really?
know about it. Yes,
Really?
lactose
Okay.
again, it's same like yeah, gluten. Wherein allergy, once you are there, so baby is born, first milk comes in, and you develop allergy, and that's when we get to know. But there is lactose intolerance, and people don't know. And the kind of milk right now we are getting, no, it actually doesn't have any
Yeah.
nutrients.
True.
I
True.
am telling, when we do the blood test of even like 9, 10, 12-year-old kids, they are deficient in calcium, they are deficient in vitamin D, though they are drinking a liter of milk almost every day. Okay, so unless and until you are getting that dairy milk which is like devoid of all the hormones and all those things, I am not in favor of this double toned milk, skimmed milk. See, earlier at our
Yeah.
parents' age, no, we never had any of these kind of milk, and they never had any weight issues or
True.
any
True. True.
health
True.
related
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
right now we have so many variations in milk, and it's not supporting in any way. And especially that Tetra Pak milk which comes with 6 months shelf
Yeah.
life,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I always tell it's better not to drink milk, because see, none of the milk, you keep it even for 6 hours, it's not going to stay in a hot weather. How can you
Oh
expect the milk to stay for 6 hours,
my
six
God.
months?
I already have a lot of Tetra Paks in my home.
So see, yeah, and why the shelf life? Because see, Kankan, there is no preservatives in it for sure,
Correct.
but they use vacuum packaging. Okay, a very high heat packaging, so it kills your bad bacteria. But do you think your good bacteria are going to survive in that high heat?
That's
No.
right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And your all your vitamins, minerals are not that high heat resistant. So actually almost everything is killed off. That's why the fermentation doesn't happen, because the bacteria is not there in that milk, and it doesn't spoil, it stays for 6 months. Because almost all bacteria, it's like a white sterilized liquid which doesn't have any nutrients as such. Okay, yes, sometimes with traveling athletes, since the options are not there at times, I tell them to carry those small Tetra packs, but regularly it is not required, because it's not giving you any nutrients. You can get your calcium from other foods, you can get your vitamin D as well. Okay, because in spite of taking all of that, it's not helping you in any way. So unless and until you are getting that, that hormone free and the dairy is not mixing anything, unless and until you are not getting that kind of milk, I always suggest don't go running after milk, because it's not providing you as such any of the nutrients. And that pasteurization and so many processing is done with all of that, no, it does a lot of harm to that milk, and so much injection. So we have like researchers have found human growth hormones are there, and that is affecting lot of obesity in people. Lot of hormonal issues are going on when people are consuming milk as such. Okay, so it's like because those cows are
Okay.
injected, and
Mm-hmm.
like always said,
True.
when a
Yeah.
mother is breastfeeding, we always suggest not to take even a medicine, because that passes in a
True. True.
breast milk
Yes.
and goes
Yes.
to a baby. Same thing applies to your our cows and buffaloes also. They
Yeah.
are injected, and that injection, that hormone is secreted and comes out in the milk as well. And lot of times, see, these are forced extraction. Lot of pus cells are also do come out in the milk as well. Okay,
True.
and that is actually harming our population and athletes and overall people. A lot of issues are going on, and acne issues are also there. See, anybody having, this is an added information I want to give, anybody having acne in this area, it's more
Yeah.
like food is not going okay with you. Whereas
Oh, really?
anybody
Okay.
having acne in
Mm-hmm.
this area,
Yeah. Yeah.
jawline, this side,
Yeah.
it's more hormone related issues. So when
Okay.
people develop lot of acne in this area, no,
Hmm.
could be some food is not going well
Correct.
with
Correct. Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. And
Okay,
milk
and
could be one because it's hormone
it
injected.
is it
Could
is
be one. Yeah.
yes, hormone is there, and so
Hmm.
many other processing is there which is not going okay. So that's the reason I am not okay with too much milk, because those nutrients you can anyways get. And another thing why people get lactose intolerance over the period of time, as a kid they tell me I was able to digest, I don't know why I developed too much gas and stomach pain when I take milk, or I have to run to
True. True. True.
one
Yeah. Yeah.
important thing. See, to digest milk, no, there is something called lactase enzyme in our body, that breaks lactose into galactose and glucose. Okay, this is important for lactose to absorb. Over the period of time, lactase deficiency starts in our body. In our childhood and as a teenager, we have a lot of lactose in our body, but over the period of time, it starts declining, and sometimes it's gone off from the body. So over the period of time, people develop this lactose intolerance. This is one thing that happens with that. So
True,
that's why
true.
they were able to digest milk in the past, but now they're 30, 35, 40 years, and they find it milk is really hard for them to digest.
Okay.
So that's another reason for people not to be able to digest. So I tell mothers especially not to be after your kids so much. And problem is a lot of additives that go in the milk.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to take the names, but yeah, like your Bonvita is there, Horlicks is there, so many those so-called powders which are
Yeah.
loaded with sugar. You are telling your kid not to eat that donut or
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
chocolate, but
Correct.
that powder is going on, which is only sugar, only carb. That is
True.
again adding up to so many other things which we don't want to be going in the body. So it's like a nutshell, unless and until you know the source from where you're getting it, there's no point getting into milk. And I've seen majority, like
Yeah.
I said in my genetic test, majority times it comes as lactose intolerant. And we found that 70% Indians, I'm
True,
repeating
true,
again,
true, true.
they're lactose intolerant.
True, true. I
So no
mean,
need
yeah,
to
right, right. I mean, it's really a revelation, right? Now, when you say 70% is lactose
70%.
intolerant, yeah, which is really
Yeah.
huge for a country which has been inherently having milk, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
ironically, it's just ulta. Correct. Yeah.
Ulta. And
Yeah.
earlier our milk quality was different, and now the milk is like what we are getting. And see, northern side, no, like Punjab and Haryana,
Yeah.
they're too much into dairy. That is a complete, and there are a lot of things they get naturally things
True,
there.
true, true.
Okay, they
Yeah, yeah.
already have
That's
their own
different.
cows, buffalo, and they get
Mm-hmm.
the natural extraction done. And they are like their paneer and all of that. What we get in North India is completely different to what we get here in South India.
True, true,
Very
true.
much different if you have
Mm-hmm.
tried. It's like really heavy, very much different. That's high fat also, but
Yeah.
here you can make out lot of additives are already added to make it to preserve it for longer period of time. The quality is
Mm-hmm.
completely different, so that also matters. We need to see
True.
so many things before we get on to stop
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then finally, what about vegan diet? So that is again, something that even our own Virat Kohli, of
See,
course,
yeah.
he's doing quite well with that. So I'm sure he's getting adjusted to that. But otherwise, what's your take on that?
See, vegan is a way of life. Like we are a vegetarian, non-vegetarian. There is something called vegan also. It's a way of life. People have made it as a diet kinds actually. It's something different. Keto is different, intermittent, wherein you can be a vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Vegan is a way of life. I don't want to eat non-veg. I am a vegetarian. That's my choice. Vegan is also a choice. Whereas people are portraying it as okay. In terms of emotionally, a lot of people are playing around when it comes to vegan diet. Okay, and
Okay.
that's not the right thing to do. Okay, and see, vegan again, there are mixed things, and I'm not completely okay, especially for an athlete going for it. Okay, completely going for it, because see, once that documentary came in,
True.
there were so many things involved with that documentary, the people involved, and so many. That's a completely different thing. But at the
Yeah.
same time, lot of people went for vegan, seeing that. Though
Seeing
a
that
lot of,
documentary. Yeah.
yeah, proven researchers were not there for the things that were mentioned anything. A lot of things were not science backed up, and lot of later on testimonials came in how athletes have suffered big time. See, vegan diet, your nutrients are compromised. Okay, uh, see, people who wants to take it as a choice, it's their decision. But my take on vegan, when an athlete wants to go for it, okay, proteins have to be managed in that, especially in our country where we don't get that much of soya, and we are not into tofu, soya milk. A lot of people take it but can't be a regular way of life. Okay, chana, rajma, how much are you going to eat? So protein gets compromised, and lot of nutrients also get compromised. And if you're working professionally on that, properly taking guidance, then it's not a problem as such following any diet. But what happens kya hota hai na, you are missing out iron, which is very important for a player. Your calcium, vitamin D is not there as such. Lot of the vitamins are not there, and people forget all of that. They just simply focus on plant, and they think I'm eating plant, I am very healthy. That, like I
True.
said, for a gluten free also,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
only
correct.
plant. But we don't see what are the added things going in that, which can actually screw up my this thing. So a lot of debate is going on all kinds of diet, especially vegan. and suddenly you're eating non-veg or eggs or something, and the mistake people doing is suddenly switching off to another kind of diet. And lot of people have actually faced and have given testimonials how that kind of diet has actually affected their life, their health. Lot of injuries. See, enough proteins are not going. You play 5 to 6 hours a day.
True, true,
Proteins
true.
are not there.
Yeah,
How much
yeah.
whey protein are you going to take? Whey is also not allowed in vegan. Okay, it's a milk protein, so they don't take whey also. Where is the protein? So muscle breakdown, not injuries are happening, this year, that, so many things are happening. So that's why you just do it sensibly. So it's a way of
True.
life, it's a choice that a
Yeah,
person needs have to
yeah, yeah.
take, and decide sensibly. Being a top end athlete, elite athlete, even a beginner, I need to
Hmm.
decide, am I getting all my nutrients when I'm switching to this kind of diet?
Hmm.
It has to be my
True.
lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so that's the thing.
true. So, like you said, the athletes they play for so many hours. Matches I'm talking about. So obviously, recovery is so important, right? So,
Yes, yeah.
so that is, I think, one of the most important things, especially in tennis and all, wherein you play almost every week. And then
Yes, it's matches like for a week.
yeah, for a week, entire week, and again the next week you again play. So it's like that.
Yes, true.
Yeah, and unless and until it's Grand Slam, Grand Slam, of course, you've got one day in between, but in the lower round tournaments, below the Grand Slams, you play almost every day till the time you reach the
Yes,
final. So that is
correct.
basically 5 days on a stretch you play. So that means
Yes,
recovery is so important. So
very
what kind
important.
of, yeah, that's, so I'm sure food plays a very important role in this, right? So what all
Yes,
are, so what all maybe the, I don't know if this is the right word, right food for recovery. I don't know that's the right term, but what are the maybe the recovery food if you have anything to suggest to in your menu
yeah.
kind of.
So see, yeah, when you finish a game or your muscles have worked out, good amount of proteins first thing has to come in, and that's a drawback with vegan. What happens, especially when you're outside, food options get limited for a vegan diet. That's what happens. Okay, so proteins are extremely important for recovery. That's very, very important. So proteins along with good carbs have to come in. And then we work on certain strategies for recovery. We need to have certain aminos also for the recovery to happen, because in tennis, badminton, by the time they reach their quarters or semis, that's when they drop out. That's when they lose
True,
up, because they've
true, true, true.
played for
Yes.
3 4 days,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
and the last minute,
yeah.
no, they actually crash out. Okay,
True.
so it's
Yes.
like proteins your after your match water. And see what happens, though, Kankan, it's not only the last meal of the day, but during your matches, in between the break, am I replenishing my body with all the nutrients and hydration? So in that case, though, along with the food, we work on certain supplements as well. Especially it comes handy when you're playing tournaments for a couple of days. It's very, very important. What other rehydration am I doing? The proteins that are coming in. If I'm a non-vegetarian, yes, okay, chicken has to come in, or eggs have to come in. Or if a vegetarian, eggs, what other vegetarian sources, paneer is there, tofu is there, so many things we have to see. So proteins are very important first of all for the recovery. Okay, that's very important. Then other
True.
aminos, then we work on certain strategies with the players, because recovery, like glutamine can come in. Okay, now when I'm saying, I don't want to say about the supplements, but then because it's not applicable to everybody, but glutamine is something helps in recovery, like your pineapple juice, watermelon juice, they are very good recovery agents, these drinks.
True. Yeah.
Okay, they have certain amino acids which help in quick recovery. So
Hmm.
it's not like apne game finish can immediately I'm drinking on that juice. No, there is a
Yeah.
way of taking that as well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we
True.
work around food, what can be mixed in what with the certain available things that can be done. Your BCAAs come in, your whey protein comes in. This I'm telling you about the elite players who can take
True.
supplements.
True. True.
But with
Yeah.
smaller kids and all of that, parents have to really plan up and take up things with them. So that's why I tell them, when you are planning to go outside for 5 6 days of match, the kind of hotel you are going to stay, make sure they have certain options. You can demand them certain
Hmm.
things. They have certain
True.
that kind of liberty wherein you can bring in your food. I always tell them, carry a small rice cooker wherein you can boil your eggs and rice. Something you can do, a blender, small juicer kind of thing, wherein you can do some things on your own, because all these things are very important for a player for recovery, and sleep is very important. They need to make sure.
True.
If I tell players, if you have a tournament morning and one in the evening, you have some time in between. Don't waste your time. this thing, a lot of athletes miss out on that. So along with food, no, they get at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes or 1 hour of that nap, or just switch off the light, lie down, don't talk, because what happens, what they've eaten, no, they'll talk around, they're moving around, doing something, or they'll be walking around, they're utilizing that energy that needs to be utilized in their game. Okay, a lot of screen time happens. So what happens, an athlete, no, a serious athlete, I don't have to explain them these things much. But an athlete, no, they, a lot of times they just believe, okay, my training is there and the food, what she's telling me. These are the in-between things. You can be well hydrated, well fed, but if your sleep is not in place, a lot of screen time has happened, you walked around talking, a lot of these things, it can actually screw up your game. So it's very important. And a lot of times athletes, when they travel for their game, now especially Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and all, you get a lot of good options in food there. A lot of people are crazy about the food there. They end up eating a lot. They forget that for the what purpose I have come in. Okay. That I have to tell them, okay, first finish your goal or the purpose that you have come in, your sport, okay, and then in the end you enjoy. Nobody is asking you to don't do that, but keep those treats towards the end. Don't just go, because all your fitness, whatever effort you've been putting in from last 3-6 months, whatever it is, they just lose up on all those things. Okay, so when it comes to recovery or the performance of an athlete, all these things come in picture. And then with food, we work on different strategies. But protein is one thing that's very important, along with certain aminos that will help them. In the end, we do give them ZMA at times to help them with good sleep, recovery part. So many things are there, but they are not applicable to everybody, not for all age groups.
True.
So depending upon the level of the player, we work on those aspects.
Wow, it was really enriching, Rashmi. So you enriched us with gluten and milk intake, and then certain quick fixes that that's there in the market. So direct recovery foods. So many things. Really enriching, Rashmi. Thank you so much. And so it's really a pleasure having you. I'm sure your video will be very enriching for all our young players and the professionals also. Thanks, Rashmi, for coming in. Thank you so much for your time.